So welcome to Boxing Media Hub. And yes, we've got another special guest for our prediction show. No, it's not Ender, but he is great. We've got the People's Champ, Jamel Herring, and we are going for Robeisy Ramirez versus Rafael Espinoza. What a mouthful that is.
Joel, not just the People's Champ, former WBO super featherweight champion, an actual real belt and not an ordinary one. It was the official proper WBO belt.
He's the man.
I appreciate that.
Ramirez, 14 fights, 13 wins, 8 knockouts. Espinoza, 21 fights, 21 wins, 18 knockouts for the WBO World Featherweight title, currently held by Ramirez. Espinoza was last out in July against, got to get this one right, Warangi, which was a win in KO round 2. Ramirez, July, Shimizu, is that correct terminology, which is a win TKO round 5. Both coming off good, quick victories there, to be honest. Great fighters, both of them. But do you know what, Jamel? You're kicking us off for this one, mate. It's over to you.
Robeisy Ramirez, again, another good friend of mine. Real good, solid fighter as he came along. We all know how his first fight, he lost his pro debut because he still had the kind of Cuban, the amateur style. But I mean, he still has it a bit, but he uses it more now within his defense. So, and he's been sitting down more in that left hand. At times, though, they say he can become a one-handed fighter at times, with everything being just left hand and setting everything up with the right. But again, he's real accurate with it. And on the other hand, I watched some footage of his opponent. What's the name again?
Espinoza.
Espinoza. I'm sorry. Rafael. Espinoza. Tall. I think he's 6 foot. He's really tall for the he's for the weight class for starters.
Wow.
Compared to Robeisy's height. Also, he's real aggressive. He likes to fight long at times, but again, if he tags you something, he'll follow up. So I think if anything, going into that fight, Robeisy Ramirez, even though he has the less amount of pro experience, he still has a ton of the amateur experience, and he's probably seen all types of shapes and sizes in his amateur career alone. I think he's gonna go back to a little bit to that Cuban style and potentially cruise to, honestly, when you get 2 punches in the ring, you always know that someone's aggression is going to use against them, so it always becomes a knockout or that puncher that just doesn't have a chin. So we're going. So again, I think it's going to end. It's probably going to end maybe around 11 because we know Robeisy takes his time as he gets the engine warming, and we don't know if he's going to carry the fight to sap some of the energy out of Rafael. So, but my prediction is 11 round TKO Robeisy Ramirez.
There we go. Chris has jumped in. Yeah, he's saying Ramirez. Let us know, Chris, what your prediction is. Stephen, before we jump in, Ender, don't know much about Espinoza, to be honest, but he must be a bit of a banger. I do know he'll have to be a bit special to beat Ramirez. Followed him since he beat Eric Donovan. Class act. Yeah. Stephen will love the fact you've just agreed with that. He won't stop talking about it now. That'll be it. We won't hear the end of it, Jamel. End up. Who's going next?
Yeah, I'll go next. Well, obviously, Jamel has clearly pointed out everything, and that's really good.
It's like he's done punditry before. It's
he's a professional that gets paid on TV to do this. Not 2 Egypts in their bedroom. Well, not bedroom.
By the way, top rank. He needs to be on telly more. We need to see this guy on telly more.
Yeah, we love him. We love him on the European stream.
Glad you guys said it.
Awesome. But anyway, back to Mr. Robeisy Ramirez. I mean, one thing that sticks out for me, he won the title against Dogbo, in a unanimous decision, and he is a great fighter, Dogbo. So, I think it's a case of levels here. not being hard on Rafael, but I think Robeisy, in the short time he's been a pro, has faced a higher level opposition. Would that be right, Jamel?
Yeah, of course. That's how I was trying to put out in my statement. I just said like this, the caliber between the two, even though he has more professional fights, or basically has too much of a ton of experience, amateur and pro.
Yeah. And Stephen pointed out he did beat our fellow countryman, Eric Donovan. Now, Eric's wonderful and the nicest guy you can meet, but Eric's highest achievement was winning the European title in his final fight. So I think, when one fights Dogbay and the other fights a European level, it does show the levels there. Now, you've gone for later than I would say, but I seem to be writing off people very early lately. But I think, like you said, Robeisy needs time to kind of, like Lomachenko, the amateur, he programs the computer at the start for the first few rounds, and then he gets into it. But like that, because of the levels involved, I think he's going to get him out there somewhere between round 6 and 9. That's where, he'll be fully tuned up. The engine will be purring just nicely, and we'll see, why we all love Robeisy Ramirez so much. And I can see him, taking it in those rounds and stopping the fight.
Yeah. We've got Chris, who's turned around and said Ramirez 8th round, and he would like to see Luis Alberto Lopez versus Ramirez. Now that would be a good fight, to be fair.
Yeah, that's of course. That's the next fight. The word I heard was that'll be the next fight, of course. But the winner could potentially face Myseku. I mean, in a way.
Yes.
For that. So a lot happened in that division.
Yeah, like you said earlier, Jamel, about people fighting on the undercard, because Robeisy fought on the undercard of Inoue over in Japan, and that was so he could he was lining up to fight him.
Size him up.
I'm going to be honest though, I would not want to touch that guy. Would you, Jamel? Let's be honest. Inoue
is a monster for a reason.
Yeah. And when he wins on the 26th of December, he'll go back to pound for pound number 1.
Well, there we go. I'm just going to follow it up quickly by saying I agree with Ender, which is quite rare.
No, it's not. You always copy everything I say.
And do you know what? I think it'll be nearer towards the 9, but I think it will be in that sort of 6 to 9 bracket. But I just think,
like Chris said,
Robeisy, I just think he's a class act, and as you say, I think we're going to see more of that Cuban style, like Jamel's saying. He's quality. He's not afraid to trade, but technically he's fantastic as well. And when you put both of those together, he's just a joy to watch. So I'm going to go for the 6 to 9, nearer to the 9. Ender, you can have 8.
And 8 is nearer to 9.
11.
9.
Yeah, and Jamel's going for 11, so he's probably 11. Right anyway. So
I just want to make a point about Robeisy's loss, and it reminds me of Lomachenko's loss, and I think that's a great thing, because these zeros are protected so much that it ruins the boxer for challenging himself. And I think when that zero goes so quickly, then they suddenly will take on all comers because there's no zero to protect.
Jamel, how did you feel after obviously you were devastated that you had your first loss, but how did you did you see things differently once you had that on the record? Did you feel
absolutely because that was a period when people had already counted me out then. So when you lose that it's like what I have nothing else to lose. I mean, but I have everything to gain still. So I look at it as, I don't have any pressure, anyone expecting me to do anything much. So that's why I kind of like was quiet as I climbed back up in the rankings, and that was my approach. That's why I didn't really care for like being in the spotlight or trying to be this particular type of fighter that everyone wants you to be. So Again, it takes a lot off because even now we see guys that still have their O. Now they're getting compared resumes with other guys that have their O, and it's like it's a never-ending battle. I mean, look at this Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson. No matter how you put it, it's like those three had their own different groups and they all vibe for which one is better. But we would rather just see the fight itself than everyone argue about it constantly.
And that's why Lomachenko, and Robeisy, they'll take on all comers because that zero went,
Yeah, 100%. Jamel, before we let you go, you just mentioned those three names.
Yes.
Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta, Ender knows where I'm going with this.
Yep.
Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney. Who's your guy out of those three?
My guy out of those three, and it's crazy. I like them, like all three of them. But if I had to pick who's like pretty much the guy between those three, of recent performances, I have to say Gervonta Davis because if you think about it, he's coming off the Ryan Garcia fight, which is his more recent performance. People still question about Devin's win over Lomachenko. So again, he has some questions that people want. But again, I think Devin has probably the better resume, in terms of the caliber of fighters and names on his resume. And I always felt that Shakur Stevenson was more of the more technical, technician. But again, I think with Tank, he has a little bit of something and everything that they have also. He could be technical. He proved that in the Eastside Cruz fight. He has the equalizer, which is, the big left hand. Well, he has power on both hands. So that's always dangerous. He's a southpaw as well. So, of course, you probably, but then again, people will criticize Tank for his resume. So it's one of those things where we all would just wish those guys would somehow just make these fights happen so we can stop asking all these questions about who's the best out of the three.
Yeah. We just got to sit back and admire the fact that we've got these three guys in this
generation.
generation.
We do fight each other,
Yeah.
Just on that, Shakur's last performance was a little insipid. Now, I definitely think he had a hand injury, and he didn't directly come out and say it, but he said he didn't want to make excuses. What did you think of his last fight?
For me personally, I think something was going on with that fight. And again, we've seen this before with Shakur Stevenson in terms he has an off night, which happened to be the fight before I fought him. Yeah, he had an off night. Everyone wrote him off, and then the next fight came with a different fight. He even surprised me. If I'm being honest, he surprised me. I thought that over time I could keep pressing him and wearing him down mentally. But he kept fighting, and he kept getting stronger as the fight progressed, and that's how I ended up with all those cuts. Because trying to walk through fire, thinking he was gonna eventually simmer down, but he just kept rising to the occasion. So I think there's gonna be another similar situation going into his next fight. He feels that everyone's against him, everyone is doubting him. Everyone is asking if he even deserves the big fights with guys like Haney or Gervonta Davis anymore. So of course he's gonna come back with a chip on his shoulder, and I think he's gonna fight with a more sense of urgency again and put on a dominant fashion. I just think he just needs the right dance partner, of course, to make it happen, because it can't be just anybody, because you know how they are. Well, who did he fight? It has to be someone that we all recognize as a legit top contender or former champ, whatever, but it has to be someone that fits the bill.
Yeah. And can I ask you then, as a result of that, you don't think anyway he was kind of laying a trap, because he found it very hard to get people to fight him? So maybe having a poor fight might kind of like Wile E. Coyote lay a trap for the Roadrunner.
He said, well, if everybody's had a poor fight, maybe people won't stop. They'll stop avoiding him from fighting me. So he said that. He said, if I had a bad fight, if you think I'm this bad, then fight me. So he's inviting the guys in that think that he's falling off or he isn't as good as they say. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't fall for it. I wouldn't fall for it.
No. He's much better than that last fight. He's so much better. And
then again, if you watch on from the time him and I fought, if you notice, he was becoming more aggressive in his attack. And he wasn't just a guy who was just so defensive. Oscar Valdez, he put on a beautiful performance. Robson Conceal, who just came out with a draw in a hard fight with Emmanuel Navarrete a few weeks, a week ago or so ago now. He walked him down the entire fight and bullied the bully. So again, Shakur Stevenson has it within him, and she shows it at times. I just think he just needs to go back to that and just continue pushing forward. I mean, at the end of the day, he's still a three division world champion, and he won the fight. So you just come back. Hey, I know you stock probably for drop as they say, but again, it's not to say you can't build it back up.
Yeah, no.
It's so wonderful, and I really appreciate getting that from you with your expert knowledge, and you've been in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. Oh my God, it's really good to get that. So I really appreciate being able to ask those questions of you, and your answers are great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, well, guys, as I say, let us get your comments. Let us get your predictions. Robeisy Ramirez versus Rafael Espinoza. Looking forward to this one. Our mate Jamel's going to be down there as well. So
yeah, he'll be on comms for Europe. So if you tune into Sky Sports with Top Rank, you're going to hear those dulcet tones of Jamel Herring, and then let Top Rank know how wonderful Jamel is, because we know.
Yeah. He needs to be weekly.
Christina will love that. She'd rather have me sitting with her. She'd rather have me sitting with her than being back in the ring. So she would love that if I'm weekly.
But no, Jamel.
Hey, it's better than getting punched in the face,
Yeah, it is. It's easier.
That's what I mean.
Not easier.
I see. Actually, you swerved that from. You didn't agree with better. You said no, it's easier. You swerved that.
It's easier.
But no, honestly, Jamel, it's a pleasure having you on as always, mate. And love to the family as well. I hope they're all well. And we look forward to whatever plans you have coming up. And
I love your Yankees hat.
We'll definitely catch up with you soon.
All right, man. Hopefully I'll be over there soon.
And are the New York Giants going to win this evening?
Yeah. We got it.
Aren't they Patriots? Is it the Giants against Patriots?
I don't want to talk about the Patriots. I see you guys later.
That's a different channel. Sorry. Until then, there you go. We've lost him. So until next time, we'll hit the subscribe button. Check out the rest of the content. Leave us your predictions below, and we will see you soon. Until then, Ender, thank you very much. Big shout out to Jamel. Have some of this.